We've all heard this idea that our health is pretty much decided by our genes, right? Like the story has already been written for us. But in this explainer, we're going to tear that idea apart. What if that's just not the whole story? What if you are the architect of your own vitality and you have the power to take the pen and start writing a new chapter, starting right now? And look, this isn't just some feel-good quote you'd see on a poster. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about our own health. It reframes this whole longevity thing, not as something that just happens to us, but as something we actively create. It's about grabbing the steering wheel, moving from the passenger seat to the pilot seat of your own health journey. So where do we even begin writing this new story? Well, we start by changing the goal itself. For forever, we've been obsessed with one thing: lifespan, just adding more years to the clock. But the real prize, the actual measure of a successful life, is something totally different. Just take a look at these two paths, right? Two potential futures. On one side, you have a life that's, it's constrained by illness, by dependence. On the other, you have a life filled with energy, with strength, with purpose. And the crazy thing is, the gap between these two, it's not about luck, it's not about fate. It's determined by a concept called health span. This, right here, this is the real prize: health span. It's not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. Think about it like this. The goal is to squeeze that period of sickness and decline into the tiniest possible window, right at the very, very end of a long, awesome life. Okay, so how do we make this health span thing practical, not just some nice idea? We need a new way to think about our day-to-day choices. Let's try a powerful analogy that makes every single thing we do count. Seriously, just pause and think about that for a second. What if your health was a bank account? Because every single day, with every little choice you make, you're either making a deposit that builds your future, or you're making a withdrawal that drains it. And here's the kicker. Longevity isn't built with one grand gesture. It's the grand total of thousands of these tiny choices. A walk is a deposit. A sleepless night is a withdrawal. The problem is, most of us are making these tiny unconscious withdrawals for decades, and then we're shocked when we feel totally overdrawn in our 50s or 60s. The goal is to become a conscious investor in your own biology. This right here might be one of the most freeing, most empowering ideas in all of science. It's so easy to blame our genetics, our family history, but what we now know is that our lifestyle choices, our daily habits, are constantly sending signals to our genes, turning the good ones on and the bad ones off. The bottom line, you have so much more control than you've probably ever been told. The power is literally in your hands. Okay, so we get it. We need to make more deposits. But how? How do we do that consistently without it feeling like a full-time job? Well, you need a simple operating system for health, a blueprint that makes the right choices almost automatic. And that's where the LONG framework comes in. It's super simple, 4 pillars that work together to build a powerful defense against aging. We've got L for longevity foods, O for optimized movement, N for neurological fitness, and G for what we call generative social health, which is all about our vital human connections. Let's break them down. All right, let's start with longevity foods. You gotta forget about just counting calories. Think bigger. Every single bite you take is a set of instructions. You're literally programming your body's software. A simple way to do this is with the longevity plate. Just fill half your plate with colorful veggies, a quarter with good protein, and the last quarter with healthy fats and complex carbs. Oh, and try a simple 12-hour fast overnight. That little break triggers something called autophagy. It's basically your body's cellular cleanup crew going to work. Next up, O for optimized movement. Think of your muscles as your longevity insurance policy. It's your metabolic currency, and strength training is non-negotiable to keep it from declining with age. But it's also about what you do outside the gym. That's where your superpower comes in. NEAT. It's all the little movements you do all day long, taking the stairs, pacing on the phone, you name it. It's the perfect weapon against the sitting disease. And if you really want to know where you stand, your VO2 max, how well your body uses oxygen, is one of the most powerful predictors of how long and well you'll live. All right, N is for neurological fitness, and this one is huge. While you're in deep sleep, something amazing happens. Your brain activates this unique waste clearance system. It's like a power washing crew for your brain, literally scrubbing out all the toxic gunk and proteins that are linked to things like Alzheimer's. So getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep, it's not a luxury, it is absolutely essential brain maintenance. And finally, G
Generative social health. And get this, this is going to blow your mind. Chronic loneliness can be as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Connection isn't a nice to have, it is a biological requirement. So building your vitality pod, that small circle of people who really have your back, and finding your purpose, your reason for getting up in the morning, these are incredibly powerful longevity drugs. Okay, deep breath. I know that was a ton of information. The LONG framework is powerful for sure, but trying to change everything at once, that's just a recipe for burnout and failure. So let's pull it all back and figure out a simple, non-overwhelming first step you can take literally today.
So, that's the big question, right? When you see all these areas for improvement, it's so easy to get paralyzed and then just do nothing. But the strategy for actually making progress is super simple and focused. Well, the secret isn't to become a perfect health ninja overnight. Nope. The biggest, fastest wins come from finding your weakest link, the one area that needs the most attention, and starting right there.
So let's do a quick audit right here, right now. Just on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you doing in each of these areas? For L, your food. For O, your movement. N, your neurological fitness, mostly sleep. And G, your social health. No judgment. Just be honest with yourself. Which one has the lowest score? That's it. That's your starting line.
And here's why this is so powerful. These pillars aren't separate things. They're all connected. When you start improving just one area, let's say you focus on getting better sleep, you'll naturally have more energy to move. You'll make better food choices. This is the longevity flywheel. It's like giving a big, heavy flywheel a little push. At first it's hard, but then it starts to build its own momentum, and everything else gets easier.
So here we are, right back where we started. Your story is not set in stone. It's written one choice, one deposit, one day at a time. After that little audit, what's your weakest link? And what is the one tiny action you can take today to start turning that flywheel? The pen is in your hand. So what's the first line you're going to write?